welcome for Be Creative Art Hub. Today we're going to do upcycling project using the cupboard door and the fairy chic chalk paint, which is great for this upcycling project. And then we're gonna use a IOD iron ore heat of design transfers, which I'm having some of the botanical journal offcuts. And then we're gonna use the handles to make a hanger for the jewelry. So this lovely upcycling project works well as making it sure it's the art and useful product. So first I'm gonna paint with fairy chic chalk paint, and the first color is Lorelei, which is brick color, and I'm starting with the dark color from outside as a frame, as this door has a lovely trimming, and it looks like it's a picture of the frame. So I kind of paint that frame part with all the sides in Lorelei color, and then I like to do this blending in as from dark to light, this glowy look. So for the little trimmy parts, I'll use the Ariel. And for this project, because this cupboard door is quite well maintained and has a very nice surface, so I didn't need to do too many layers of the paint. It was quite enough for one layer to cover nicely the door. And Ariel I used for the middle part of blending in from dark to light, and that orange color makes the very nice a warm toning for this project. And for the middle part I use Ariel. I used Tiana, which is pinky white color, and I kind of blend in with the Ariel, and it made this nice very good blending from dark to light, where I wanted in the middle part be the lightest, where I'm gonna put the transfer, and you will see later on how it will look. I also like to put a bit of a dry brush look on top, and when the paint was dried, I used the matte finish where I'm gonna use the transfer. I'm gonna push the transfer on, and this really helps for transfer to be stick into the surface, and it prepares well. So when the matte finish is dried, I took the IOD transfer offcuts, and this one I used Botanical Journal transfer, and I like that bud, that it was my focal point of this project. So I tried to put that bud in the quite visible space, composition wise, that it will show quite well on this picture. And with the transfer, as you know, we're using this tool, which is a plastic tool that when you're rubbing in, you hear this bubbly noise, which is letting air out between, just to cover it deeper into the surface. And when I'm rubbing in, even like I start lifting up this plastic sheet, and I see the part where it's a bit like maybe not sticked well or something, you can always come back like and rub in with it again. So I like to check and see like if they stuck well, and then if not, I just rub with my fingers on the surface. So I'm slowly peeling off this plastic and seeing how it works. And because this surface is not straight, it has some bumps, so it's a bit, you need to look at that also quite carefully. So because as you can see, this is an offcut, and some parts there of the picture and design, I saw that it's not natural look, like you can tell that it was cut off. So what I did, the other part of the leaves on the other side, I cut them out and I layered on the side which was like cut off, and it really made a nice natural like composition of this picture. So what is nice about transfers, that you can layer them and you can cut it out how you want it, and you can make your own design. It not necessarily has to be exactly how the actual transfer is. So you can, like, if you like some of the parts of the transfer, you can always cut and use the parts that you like, and the other parts you can use for another project. So so this part where I just used the parts I liked for the middle part, and for the sides, as you can see, the cut-offs, I'm just gonna start layering on the parts where I wanted to add a bit of this leaves. So I'm just measuring, like, and putting together this picture. And rubbing into the surface. So you can tell that it's up to your design and how you would like to have your picture look like. But I just wanted to cover up the places where I felt like it's needed. This is the part where I wanted to add a bit of my touch of this project, of this transfer, and I wanted to stand out this transfer, like it feels like it has the shadow, and it can stand out from this picture. So I use a bit of black, and I add a bit of lines where I would think there's a shadow coming in, and I also add a bit of my own designs around the transfer. And you don't have to do this. This is it's up to you how, but it's just my little touch of for this work. And I kind of like always to add something on the transfer, it feels like it's a bit your own artistic view of it. So these and also there was a little bit of cracks, some of the parts of the transfer where especially there is these bumps, so I also add a bit of the color in these cracks just to cover up but it's up to you if you want to do that. And when the paint was dry, then I wanted to make a frame a bit darker and add a bit more color. And because my focal point was the bird, and the bird is blue, so I decided for this part to use a that my focal point will stand out a bit better. So I use Calypso chalk paint and Maraja, and these colors really nicely blend together, and the top part I made a bit darker, and the light part I kind of like made it with Maraja and a little bit of Tiana, which is like light pinky. And on top I did like a dry brush of Tiana, like just to make it get like bit that rusty oldie look. And all these colors really nicely work together with the pinks and the greens, and they kind of like on the same value and palette, so it's really like warm colors. And I also do the sides because you will see them from the all way. So after this, I thought of using a bit more patterns because I wanted that busy boho look. So what I used, I took the IOD stamp, Bohemia, and I had the palette and I put on the green color, which is amber, and for fairy cheek paints, and I used the trims around the frame, and then so this gives a bit of more like in-depth of this frame, but it's again up to your style and how you want it to be, more busy or more sophisticated or classic. It's how your room are, and like what your interior and how you wanted to make this project look like. But I was going towards the busy bohemian style, with a bit of like mixture of shabby chic look. So then I used a bit of again navy blue color to add more trimming around, and as you can see, I didn't clean the palette. I kind of again mixed the colors, because the reason of that, when you using mixing these colors, they kind of start blending together, and they become in the same palette scheme and colors, and that's what makes them work together. So I'm using again a little bit of more trimming around of the door design. It just gives a bit more this personal touch of this project and in design. So after that, we're gonna drill 3 holes at the bottom of this frame, and we're gonna screw in the handles. And this is our project. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you like, please thumb up and subscribe for our channel, Be Creative Art Hub.